And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We apologize for the technical issues. The program decided to freeze up on us, but here we are, Daytona, and the High Octane Sim Series is underway. We are on lap 20 of 130. And so as you see, they on the bottom of the backstretch, that is something that I've always been curious about. And Gray, I know that you don't do a lot of iRacing, but one thing that you immediately notice if you're racing on iRacing compared to what you see on TV is that on the backstretch for super speedways, the cars stay on the bottom, whereas in real life they stay on the top. And so that's kind of the one thing that you really notice is a huge difference between iRacing and real life.
Yeah, that's right. Of course, the inside line is always, you hear the old adage, it's always the shortest way around. And one thing I'm impressed as well, the outside line just took the lead away with only 4 cars in it, so generating a lot of momentum on that top side. And I guess the biggest reason between, well, real life and virtual is a reason why the drivers in NASCAR run the top side is you don't have to put a ton of wheel on it. So when you lean on the guy in front of you, you and him don't have a ton of wheel into that car. And as soon as I start saying good things about the outside line, now they start to break up and jump back down to the inside line.
Yeah, and Brown currently leading the race. We have been all under green so far today. But leader in the 88 car, and in second Jackson, number 29, Kevin Haas in the number 3, Mark Borton in the 52, and Nick Alford in the 15. So that's your top 5 right now. And as you can see, 3 cars inside lane, including that Georgia Bulldog car, but we'll forgive him. We'll forget the 52 of Mark Morton. But yeah, the outside lane is such a wild card in Daytona because there's times where it really moves without a lot of cars, and you see the leader Brown abandon that top line right there. You'll see that a lot. You'll see the lead car of the outside lane kind of get up there to the front and then immediately abandons the guys behind him. You'll see that especially in the race, but yeah, right now there's obviously a ton of laps remaining, so these guys content to just stick, just stay in a single file line for the most part, just get those laps in. But every now and then, yeah, you'll see somebody go up there, whether that's for cooling the car, that's always something that you have to worry about, or to take the lead for themselves and maybe get some points there. Yeah, it's always interesting to see which lines are moving at certain times.
Well, Ronald Jackson is thinking about trying to take the race lead with some help from behind him, and it looks like he has it for at least the time being. And that's just Ronald Jackson doing or Luke Brown doing what he has to do. He doesn't have any commitment to stay to the top side, so naturally he'll just jump right back down to the bottom side. But that three-car outside line doesn't seem to need much more assistance than those cars. Ronald Jackson, the 29, heading the pack. And concerning that third car in line on the outside, Govals, and you could have just let that one slide, and I wouldn't have realized it was a Georgia car all race. But we've got cars already on pit road.
Yeah, saw that. We'll get to those in just a moment. As looks like Julio Villalobos is one of those cars, 78, as well as Paul Bajanek is right behind him. So we'll see how quickly they come out of the pits. Now it's just going to be 2 of them.
This lap.
It's just going to be 2 of them, so it's going to be interesting to see if they can keep up with the draft once they do come out. I think they're going to need some help because 2 is typically not enough to really stick with that draft. I think they're going to blow right by them.
Well, they're going to have to get organized together pretty quickly. Granted, this is not a huge field, a huge pack. There's only, I believe, 8, 9, 10, 8 or 9 other cars that are.
We started the race with 13. Phoenix Matter never turned a lap, so you can narrow that down to 12. It does look like there's 12 cars currently on the track. Actually, that's not true. Jeremy Richmond is currently out, but 11 cars currently on the track. And this is not what they were looking for. Paul Paul Bojanic and Villalobos all by themselves. So you can
Yeah,
see
they are
there's Villalobos.
too
He's
far apart.
way, yeah, exactly. That lead pack is going to blow by them, and there's the lead pack right there. So we actually have a bunch of cars on pit road currently. Nick Alford is who we're looking at coming out of the pits. Jacob
310-1.
Fifield is coming out. Mark Chandler, Matt Staten, Ronald Jackson, and Martin Morton are all coming back onto the track. So it looks like the fuel window is about 25 laps. So it's going to be a lot of time for pit stops throughout this race. We'll see how long that they can keep it under green. Obviously, yellows can obviously affect things, but right now it's been all green so far, nearly 30 laps in.
And what you see right there between the 15 and 45 of Alford and Field, excuse me if I got that one wrong, probably did. That is how you need to come out of the pits. Grouped up, tight together. That is exactly what you need to do.
Definitely. And current leader Kevin Haas is currently on pit road. Luke Brown is who we're looking at right now. And you see everybody else about to pass them by. So they're going to be way back there. But it looks like Kevin Haas was able to lead a lap. But right now, Nick Alford takes over the lead. The number 15 car right there in front of the pack. Just a 4-car pack right now is the lead one.
And that's how that was when a good chunk of your field came onto pit road. So those 4 cars, pretty much, they came in together, organized and cohesive. They got out of pit road cohesive and together, Alford getting the advantage. So not necessarily saying that's going to be the race for your win, considering we're just now getting to lap 27, but that was the best execution of how you get on pit road.
Yeah, definitely. And really, I think that lap cars could play a factor once we get to that point, because right now, unless these guys just have a two-way battle for the lead, because it's only 2 cars to the inside and 2 cars to the outside should somebody try to make a move for the lead. But, until they do, I just don't think they're bother to try for that right now. Now, again, the water temperature is something that you have to worry about when you're drafting immediately behind somebody. So these guys are going to keep that in mind. You can always overheat the car. So that can be a potential issue for these guys. As you can see, the leaders, Nick Alford with Jacob Fifield, getting a little bit of distance between them and Mark Chandler and Matt Staten. I think that's probably by design. I think Chandler's probably backing off a little bit to cool that engine. But right now,
and
just a 4-car field.
Yeah, there's no reason to push the issue there. That Mark Chandler just backing up a couple of car lengths. Of course, you want to be careful not to lose what draft there is of those 2 out in front. But yeah, that's just I'm gonna back up. He's got help behind him with Matt Staten, and then Villalobos is 6 seconds off this pack right now. So these 4, they're good. They're good where they are right now.
Yeah, and speaking of Villalobos, we'll take a look at him right now. As you can see, he and Paul Bojanic are still all by themselves. I think that it would really benefit them if Villalobos were to check up a little bit so that Bojanic can catch up to him now. Bojanic about 2 3/10 off of him, 2 seconds and 3/10 off of Villalobos. So I think that he's getting just a little bit of draft. So I think slowly but surely he'll be able to catch up to him. But meanwhile, you're losing a lot of time on that lead pack. It would definitely benefit them for Villalobos to slow down for him. But behind them, we've got Kevin Haas, who does have Robert Dudley right behind him. So they're drafted a little bit. So they've got a connection going on. And then behind them is Ronald Jackson and Mark Morton. They are chained up right there. And behind them, Luke Brown all by himself. Jeremy Richmond is off the track. So we'll go back to the leaders, and right there they are. Cameron barely even had to move. So that 4-car battle and a couple of what's the right word? Tandem draft. Couple of yeah, bad memories, right? Tandem drafts going on right now. But other than that, pretty just these guys riding around right now, getting these laps done.
Yeah, and that's pretty much a big part of these super speedway tracks, is just lap after lap after lap. It can almost get monotonous, but it's what you've got to get done because you got 99 coming and 98 more to go.
Yeah, and as we'll wait for these guys to just get this green flag window in and wait for their pit stops, did want to talk about the Martinsville race this past weekend. I had the opportunity to attend that race, so it was pretty crazy to see that up close and personal.
Nick, I'll
Ray,
go
what'd
high on the
you
back
think
here.
about that whole thing?
I should have known you were gonna make me talk about this.
Okay, I apologize. I wasn't thinking about that. Ray is a huge Denny Hamlin fan, so he was
Oh
not.
yeah, go ahead and
He
throw
was,
me under the bus for
he
that.
was not a big fan of that, but you can't deny it. It was pretty crazy to see.
Well, and I guess technically there is no rule. You can just throw it in like a video game move and just ride the wall. I never really thought about that because nobody ever really has either. And considering these cars are made out of actual bricks, at this point, I'm pretty certain you can do that without sustaining damage.
Yeah, I will say I don't think that. I think that only was possible, and they've been talking about it a lot. I think it was only possible because of the car this year. I don't think it could have happened any year before this year, and I don't think it'll happen. They have to make some sort of rule because of safety. That access gate at the end of turn 4. If multiple cars do that and it catches the access gate, you're talking about a fatal accident there. So I think it's the only time we're ever going to see it at the end of the day. Maybe NASCAR will decide that, have at it, but I just don't think that is possible that can be done. I just don't see it happening again.
Well, who was it at Bristol that caught the crossover gate in like the late 80s or early 90s and just absolutely destroyed their car?
Michael Waltrip did it the first time, and then Mike Harmon did it the second time. So yeah, obviously you don't want that happening very often.
Yeah, because crossover gates, I don't care if you're running a car built out of concrete. It's going to just destroy it to pieces.
There's
because
no question.
The crossover gate does not forgive willingly.
It was so cool to see. I was looking over to my right. We were sitting in turn 4 onto the front stretch, and I was looking to my right, just watching Christopher Bell cross the start-finish line, and then all of a sudden, I look over to my left, and it was the craziest feeling. It was like watching cars, it was like watching one car being fast forward. That like seeing fast motion right in front of your eyes. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. It took my brain a second to comprehend what I was doing. It was so crazy. But anyway, I'm sure people watching this, they've heard enough about it. So we'll get back to this season opener in the High Octane Sim Series. Nick Alford continues to lead in the number 15 car. Jacob Fifield right behind him. Bart Chandler in 3rd, Matt Staten 4th, and Ronald Jackson 5th. So that's your top.
Now, something interesting that's happened right here is Luke Brown. He just went a lap down, but he caught the tail end of this lead draft as they jump all over the place. Careful, boys, with that double yellow line. That is another unforgiving piece of real estate here. As long as Brown can stay with those leaders there, he's still in good shape.
Yeah, definitely. And something to think about. And I'll admit, we were rushing to get to this broadcast. I'm not sure if there's stages. There were stages last season. I believe we would have had one already if that were the case. Maybe not. I could be wrong there. But we'll just have to wait and see, just like everybody else, whether there's stages or not. I hate to be that unprepared, but yeah, we appreciate. Excuse me. We appreciate you joining us, and again, we do apologize for the technical issues we had at the start. But nearly we're just about on lap 38 here in the season opener of season 4 of the High Octane season.
And these guys are they're approaching the halfway point of their pit cycle. Everybody, well, the lead pack all came to pit road on lap 25. I guess the freshest, if you will, car would be Haas who pitted on lap 26, but he's all the way back in 7th right now. So go another 25 laps here, try and break it up. Even if there aren't any stages, you go about lap 50, 75, 100, and then it's, do you try and stretch it and save it? Because if you're the leader, you're using more fuel than the rest of the cars, because if you're second, third, and fourth right now, you can pedal a little bit, although saving 5 laps of fuel at Daytona might be a little unheard of.
Yeah, definitely not happening. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely a good point. And it's up to these cars, these drivers to communicate with each other to let everybody know when they're going to pit. Now we do have another pack now, so we'll back up to them. We've got
hello.
6. Yeah, we have a 6-car pack. That's starting with Ronald Jackson, who's currently 5th place. Behind him is Mark Morton, then Kevin Haas, Paul Bojanic, and Julio Villalobos. So very smart decision right there, and Luke Brown's there with them too. So yeah, I mean, we'll see if they can, you know, they're definitely sticking with the leaders. They're waiting time, but they might be able to even catch up to them. That's a 4-car pack versus a 6-car pack. So it's possible we could see them slowly but surely catch up to the lead pack.
Oh yeah, and all this pack needs to do right now is just stay together and stay as organized as possible. Right now, what they're doing is exactly what you need to do. A little bit of gap there between the 3rd car, in line between, I think that's a 3 of Haas there, but as long as they keep hugging the bottom like that, they're going to catch that lead pack, no question about it.
Yeah, they when they crossed the start-finish line, they were about 9.3 seconds behind the leaders, and currently Ronald Johnson is about 8.7 seconds behind the leaders. So there is no question they are making up. They're not only making up time, they're making up over a half a second a lap right now. So there's going to be another pit cycle in between before they can get up to that lead pack. But if they can keep doing that, they're definitely going to, and as you can see, the lead pack is having enough issues as it is. It's 3 cars on the inside line and 2 on the outside lane. So that's going to cause that pack from behind to catch up even quicker.
Oh yeah, this battling for the lead, that's going to slow them down right now, because they have gotten side by side, apart from the lap car of Brown, who's just sitting back there and watching all this fun go down. Now they start trying to settle down single file, but that second pack is almost a full second. They're about, I'd say, 7/10 faster than that first pack, because you're looking at the low 48s for those first 4 cars, and then those next 6 you're looking at the mid to high 47 seconds. So it's going to get interesting here. Again, I'd say lap 40, 45 to 50. There's already blocking going on. That's a solid Ross Chastain move right there.
Yeah, that's Matt Staten in the lead. He is trying to preserve it, getting a lot of Alford right behind him. But currently, looks like they might get it. Here we go. He goes down low. That was Alford trying to cut down low to take the lead. Good job by Staten to preserve it, but man, this just seems so early to go for the lead.
Oh, we got to get already.
That's the end of that's the end of the stage. So no wonder they were going for it. They were going for stage points right there. So that will do it for stage 1. So we do have stages here. So that answers that question. So I'm assuming there's going to be a second stage at lap 80. And then a 50-lap stage to finish this one out. So Matt Staten, your stage 1 winner here in the High Octane Sim Series season opener at Daytona. We'll take a short break and be right back. And we are back.
He's
Staten takes stage 1. And we'll see if we can get a short interview with him in just a moment. But Gray, this is your first exposure to iRacing in quite some time. I know that it's been a while since you've had an account, but gave you a call in the last second and you were able to make it here. We'll wait until after these pit stops to interview Staten real quick, but what'd you think about that opening stage?
Well, it explained why Staten was blocking like a madman there at the end of it.
Definitely.
So that's definitely a valuable point you can't give up to Nick Alford and company. So again, pit stops taking place here. Everybody's gonna get bunched back up, and Luke Brown is going to pick up the free pass. So he'll be your lucky dog car in this case, or should be. So right now, those top 9 in the pits, and let's see who gets off first. I don't think it's gonna be the 19.
Nope, looks like it is going to be, what is that? It got off way quicker. Actually, no, Nick Alford beat them by plenty. Wonder if he took no tires and everybody else took 2 or something. He came out way quicker than everybody else.
Yeah, this could be a strategy call because tire wear at Daytona is usually not something to worry about. It's fuel that's the big question. So tires normally don't wear a lot. Now it still affects the handling of your car because going through I think there's still bumps in 3 and 4. That's going to make it a little ill handling, but tire wear's not. I like the call here. I like the call.
Yeah, I mean, why not? You know, there's going to be another stage caution. You're possibly going to have another pit stop in between. So Luke Brown was the only car lapped. Actually, he was the lucky dog. So he is just now coming out of the pits. So I believe he's going to be able to get his lap back if he doesn't already have it. So that should be 10 cars on the lead lap. Robert Dudley also coming into pit. But Nick Alford comes out of the pits the leader. However, we are going to have a quick word with Matt Staten in the number 19 car. As we'll get him up here in just a moment. Hey, Matt Staten, the Stage 1 winner of the season opener.
Next stage will be
You
at
got a
lap
copy?
84.
Yes, I do.
So, a lot of blocking there, some interesting racing to end that stage. How important was it to take that opening stage?
It's a real confidence booster, especially for the rest of the season, since this is my first race with this league. So it's definitely a huge confidence booster, and maybe more of them to come. Who knows?
Yeah, definitely a good start to your debut in this league, the High Octane Sim Series. Just track condition wise, I mean, obviously it was only a 4-car pack for the majority of that stage for you guys up there battling for the lead. But how are the track conditions? Is it tight at all, or is it pretty easy to race right now?
Well, we didn't take tires on that pit stop, that green flag stop, so the car was real loose on exit after the pit stops. But other than that, the car feels great.
All right, well, sounds good. We'll let you get back to it for stage 2. We appreciate you joining us.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You were in JKR's channel.
Voice channel 1, I think.
Gotcha.
Well, there goes the pace truck, a little bit herky-jerky
I'll get
off the track
you
down
back
on
down
pit
there.
road.
It's not letting me move you down there, but I'll figure out where you need to go real quick. I'll ask.
No big deal.
That can burn you. Hello? What's up, Alan?
we are back for stage 2 as Nick Alford currently leading it as they go into of lap 47.
Yeah, that's right, Alan. I just want to ask you one favor. You wanna share that screen again for me, buddy?
Oh, did not know that it cut off. That's true. I moved the Discord channel, so that does make sense. So we'll get you back on there.
Golly, you make one Ross Chastain joke, and that's the end of it.
It's crazy how that works sometimes. So here you go. You should be good to go now.
That's right.
So as you
Oh,
can
God.
see, obviously the field tightens after that caution. Now apparently Mark Morton went off track. We're going to take a look and see if we can figure out what happened here. This is a replay, and oh, you can see that there was
he
contact
had some
there.
help.
So Morton ended up with the grass. In the grass, he was actually able to recollect it. So a nice job by him.
Jacob.
That is
He didn't know you
easier
were
said
underneath
than
him.
done. So we'll go back to live now. We're on lap
Oh, yeah,
48,
that
Nick
is,
Alford in the lead.
That is not an easy thing to do because that had next caution written all over it.
Definitely. And unfortunately for Morton as well as Luke Brown, they are both back there. They are almost 2 seconds behind Villalobos, who's currently in 8th. So I believe that they are slowly but steadily losing the draft. Actually, no, they're catching up to Villalobos, so they'll be able to have him join the pack. I'm wondering if Villalobos might be a little bit damaged because, yeah, actually he's lost the pack as well. So it looks like they're going to be able to connect with each other as well as Jacob Fifield, who is currently in the 7th position. So it looks like already that lead pack already down to the top 6, maybe a lap car or 2 as well. Robert Dudley and Jeremy Richmond are the 2 lap cars, and again, Jeremy Richmond is not on the track currently.
Well, here comes that high side again, right back to the front, led by the 3 of Kevin Haas. It looks like overtaking Alford, and if the 52 of Morton catches back up to Villalobos in the 78, I don't think he's gonna be too forgiving. I think he's just gonna kind of drop down to go to whatever lane he's not in and kind of bypass him, because I don't think he's gonna appreciate that little bump right there.
Yeah, definitely. So the current leader is Mark Chandler. He is the number 8 car that you're seeing. In iRacing, he is actually number 67, but that custom paint scheme that you're allowed to do in trading paints shows him as number 8. So if you're confused about who that is Mark Chandler leading the LC 8 car. So if we say number 67, that's who we're referring to in this race.
Oh, I thought I was just we were getting ready for Kyle Busch's new ride next year.
And as you see, the number 19 car of Matt Staten in that, I believe that's a Martin Truex paint scheme. Is that?
Yeah,
that's correct,
it's the Auto Trader scheme.
So
Oh, here we go. Good push down the back there with Haas getting on the bumper of Alford, trying to get him in front of the 8 or 67, depending on your preference.
Yeah, even had the number 29 of Ronald Jackson disappear there for a second. That's a good strategy right there. But anyway, so see, as you saw on your screen just a moment ago, we do have another pack that has formed. We were talking about them just a moment ago, but that's a 4-car pack of Fifield as well as Villalobos, Martin Morton, and Luke Brown. So they are going to be able to keep up with everybody. Robert Dudley, oh yeah, he is actually a lap down, but among that lead pack. So if he can get a caution without being involved in it, he will be able to get the lucky dog. So as he is the only car a lap down, if he is involved in an accident, you are not the lucky dog. So that's always unfortunate when that does happen, especially in an accident that's not your fault. You can potentially, even if you're not involved in it, if you dive down and get a 1X or you go up to the wall and make contact, it does consider you being involved in that incident. That's definitely one of the most frustrating things about iRacing, especially here at the super speedways, because, you know, obviously when you're dealing with the big one, you know, being able to avoid it is much easier said than done.
Well, yeah, and it's that's another thing that translates from real stock car racing to the virtual world as well. Is, well, if you stay out of the big one, then you're in good shape. That outside line continues to get very, very dicey, and all that's doing is letting that second group catch up, who's about a tenth and a half faster than these guys. Now they're starting to get single file and better organized, and as soon as I say that, they are again now. This is so rapidly changing.
It's the second time that's happened for you. But yeah, a 7-car pack currently with 6 on the lead lap. But
and it looks like Nick Alford through the corners, especially right down on the low side, he might be having to let out of it ever so slightly. His car does not like being right next to that double yellow line, whereas everybody else, except for the 8 of Mark Chandler, who is trying to see who will go with him to the outside, but he doesn't have any friends to go with.
Yeah, and that does happen here at Daytona. I mean, it's not all just mashing on the throttle and just turning left the whole time. Well, I mean, it kind of is, but you definitely get tight coming out of these turns at times, especially when you don't take tires. And so, yeah, that's definitely something to keep your eye on, especially when they're, you know, double file. As the number 29 of Ronald Jackson is right on Alfred's bumper. That never makes things easy for you as the leader. You appreciate that bump, but man, all it takes is just a little bit of time, especially with the turn, and that can easily turn your day into a nightmare.
And that 29 car going through the corners, he has got to lay off of Alford. Otherwise, there's going to be about 4 or 5 cars on pit road with a damage repair, because that left rear, if you push in the left rear, you're going around. It's pretty much a given.
And by the way, I do know that these cars get 4 sets of tires for this race. 4 sets of tires. I believe that most of them have probably taken 1 set by now. Typically, tires are, you know, we've talked about it already, tires are not typically an issue here at Daytona, which is why it's only 4. But, you know, for what it's worth, 4 sets of tires in this race. So we are on lap 56, almost getting close to halfway there.
Well,
so far, it's been pretty clean.
Well, you heard Matt state when you talked to him early on, he didn't take, I don't believe he took tires on his stop, so we know he's got 4 sets if he wants to use those. And I know a few of these guys did take tires, because you saw the cars going up with the invisible jacks, if you will. So somebody took tires, but a lot didn't, like the 19. So we know he's on his original set. I think the 15 is as well. Ronald Jackson, he might have taken 2, because that 29 looks like he's out of this front group.
I'm curious, Gray. I can't remember. Have you been to Daytona?
Yes, several times. I worked Daytona Kart Week down there back in 2019.
Oh wow. Yeah, I've had
it rained every 5 minutes.
That's always fun. Yeah, I've had the privilege of going really during COVID, the 2020. Is it?
Whoa, Nelly, hang on to it.
Coke Zero 400 is what I was trying to say. Yeah, that was definitely an interesting time. Used to Daytona being so packed full of people, but yeah, that was definitely interesting. That was Jacob Fifield. No, I can't figure out who that was.
Yes, it was that car at the tail end of the pack behind the 8. That was the car behind the 8. I see is Fifield. Well, no, it was in front of that. It was in front of that 45. It must be a lapper.
Yeah, it must be.
But he got squirrely, and he was headed.
So.
It's Dudley. It's Dudley, the lap car.
I was thinking he lost more time than that, but good job by him to recollect that one now. He is a little less than a second behind that tail end of that lead pack, so actually even less than that, so he should be okay. Yeah, he's catching up to them fast. So he is fortunate there, because that could have lost the draft.
Well,
good job by him to recollect it.
well, and he's the only car 1 lap down because the other two behind him, Richmond is 42 laps down out of it. Mattern is unfortunately never got started. So Dudley is the only car 1 lap down. So next stage caution or next caution period, he gets back on the lead lap. And these guys fight as they work there now into the middle part of this race. It's calm now. Of course, we know it's not going to be calm once we get toward the end of the stage. We saw that with the aggressive blocking. Well, I won't say aggressive, just blocking by Matt Staten to take stage 1. So you're probably looking at about 20-ish laps to go here until the end of stage 2, and Alford just kind of freight training this pack around. The car to watch for this last 20 or so here would be that 4th place car of Mark Chandler. He's been trying to look to the outside. Nobody's been wanting to go with him. Now he might have some help here with the 8 going up there, but nobody else has been wanting to go with him.
Take a quick ride with him here. That is Mark Chandler currently being shown in 4th place. But he's your driver to watch, Gray, so definitely keep an eye on him from this one. As well as the rest of this lead pack. So you see currently almost got up to 195 there. He let off the throttle, so it looks like he's trying to stay off of Matt Staten. He's trying to take it easy right now, keep his water temperature cool. Is that top 3? Go sit back and let that top 3 fight for position as he just sits back. Kevin Haas right beside him, and Paul Bajanic right there as well. So fight right now for that lead, but not being too reckless.
And it looks like all these guys are loose going into the corner, especially Chandler. That might be another reason why he let off as quick as he did. Of course, just trying to keep that gap in between. But there's a lot of ill-handling cars. I think a lot of these guys are going to be asking for at least 2 tires in the next pit stop. I don't think you want to go more than 80 at Daytona, because then it gets really interesting.
We'll take a look at the rear view of Nick Alford, and we'll show you just how close Ronald Jackson gets up to him. I'm wondering if Ronald Jackson might. Nope, I was going to say maybe he's laying off a little bit. He started to catch up, but maybe he is checking up a little bit. We'll take a little bit of the backstretch to see if it gives Alford a little bit of a bump.
Well, right there in the center of the corner, Jackson definitely had a better center than Alford. His that 15 is just not wanting to hit the center very well. Say, here comes a 29 up, down and back it up. Okay.
Yeah, he's definitely letting off. He easily could have bumped him right there, decided not to. So I think they kind of learned their lesson earlier. There was definitely some bumping going on. I think they're just trying to take it easy right now. Ooh. Almost a bump coming out of turn 4. That is definitely not where you want to make contact. Yeah, right now, good job driving by Ronald Jackson as he disappeared for a moment, but comes back. Yeah, Bryce's burning out there. That was a close one.
And you may not have seen it further back real quick, but Mark Chandler had an opening to the inside of the 19 with Matt Staten. He elected not to force the issue and go to the inside, but if 2nd and 3rd get bunched up like they were through the tri-oval there, that 67 combo car of Chandler is going to be all over that scramble.
Yeah, definitely. You see the top 3 have kind of separated themselves. You were talking about Mark Chandler, but I don't know if he's laying back intentionally or if they're having some issues catching up to him.
He's just biding his time.
That's what you're hoping for. You don't want to look foolish, as he is your driver to watch there, so you better hope that he's just sitting there.
Yeah, let me just channel the inner Daryl look up here. He's just biding his time. He's fine.
So as we take a look of turn 2, that pack of 4 behind them trying to keep up and close that gap. It does look like they are just a little bit, and I think it might be depending on where they are on the track, how much time they're able to make up. But Jacob Fifield just slowly able, I'm taking a look at the gap right now. Yeah, they are actually slowly catching up to him, which is a little bit of a surprise, as that's just a lead pack of 4 against, or excuse me, the pack behind is just a pack of 4 compared to this pack of 7 currently here. So good job by that 4-pack to slowly, and I'm wondering if maybe they're getting just the slightest little bit of draft from that lead pack. Maybe it's just enough. As, that was the 78 of Villalobos having a little bit of trouble there coming off of turn 2. And he is right on the bumper.
I am absolutely loving this. I do believe I have seen some dynamic weather changes because about 5 laps ago there was cloud cover all over the backstretch.
Yeah, that is something that's been in iRacing for a little while now, is having some, be one of those drivers.
Boy, look at that guy in the crowd. He was really excited.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of connection issues there. We'll hopefully that gets sorted out. I believe that's his connection is struggling, at least on our end. Maybe that's just us, I'm not sure, but everybody else seems to be okay right now. And yeah, just I'm able to get the voice chat. It is indeed blinking for the drivers as well, so hopefully that gets sorted out. That's something that you don't want to see happen, especially when you're that second pack trying to catch up to the lead one.
No, you need to know where, if you're the head of a pack, you need to know where that guy is, as we're 3 laps past halfway now. So lap 68, halfway was at 65, and Alford continuing to set the pace. There's Fifield. He's back in it now.
Yeah, looks like it's been sorted out. They did let him know that he was blinking, so maybe I don't know if he has a family living with him or what, but maybe he just yelled real quick to turn whatever off. That's what I do sometimes. So, so you never know.
Get off the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of things that can affect that internet connection. So it looks like it's been sorted out, whatever the case is. And I believe that we are about to have green flag pit stops again.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
This is going to be interesting. You see a lot of brake checks right there. Looks like everybody is able to get in cleanly. We'll see if, you always have to worry about whether everybody was able to slow down enough. That's something else that's always worth mentioning. But looks like
now they've got to get this 2-wide stuff figured out, and it looks like everybody's gonna. Okay, good.
Yep. So everybody
God,
has made their pit stop.
Good job, guys. All of you getting on pit road.
And just heard on the voice chat. Not sure who it is, but he just said, "Good job, everybody," because that is, we see that, you see that in the NASCAR iRacing series. Going in and out of pit road is so difficult, especially here at Daytona.
Oh, whoa, the 52.
Yeah, 52 having some issues coming off. I believe he might have spun his tires a little bit there.
Oh yeah, he spun it and then some and hit the wall, hit the pace truck.
Let's see if we can take a look at the replay here. And yeah, it looks like he had already hit there, but you got you saw what happened.
Yeah.
You, me, the 19.
They get the insurance number on that guy.
Talking about the pace truck?
Yeah.
Yeah, iRacing fortunately does allow you to drive right through the pace truck. That was not always the case. Papyrus Racing Games, who eventually made iRacing, well, not under Papyrus Racing Games, that was a division of Sierra. But I remember NASCAR Racing 2002 season. The reason why they did that was because back then in that game, the pace car was not. You could not drive through the pace car.
And the same was true in 2003. If you hit the pace car, you hit a rock.
Really? I was thinking that you could drive through the pace car in 2003.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't think you can, because somebody maybe not me tried that.
And
we got one spit. One might have been spinning on the backstretch.
I'm trying to figure out who that was. I thought I saw the same thing. Yeah, they just said he saved it. So a great job there to save it. We're gonna see if we can get a quick replay.
No yellow necessary.
And that's your save of the race right there. If it is,
so far.
If it is.
I'm trying to find it real quick, so just give me a moment here.
Well, while you find that, Jacob Fifield, the big winner off of pit road, plus 11 right now, currently your leader over Alford and Staten, who are arguably the big two of this race so far. Staten, your stage one winner, then Ronald Jackson, Kevin Haas in fifth, and the big loser is actually Mark Chandler all the way back to seventh.
And I was able to find it just now, so we're going to show it in just a moment. But it was actually Ronald Jackson that almost spun coming off of turn 2 right here. And a little bit of
Ooh.
contact there, so very fortunate. That is a great save by Ronald Jackson. 78 of Villalobos, good avoidance there. So yeah, very fortunate for these guys. They've had several close calls now, but great job of staying clean there.
Yeah, Villalobos not making a lot of friends here in this mid part of the race, and that could come back to bite you later on if you're trying to make a move and nobody's gonna go with you.
But you know, in his defense, he was having to deal with that car in front
Oh,
of him
yeah.
blinking
Oh, yeah.
a lot. So you know, in his defense, that has not been easy for him.
No, yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not trying to. Yeah, I'm definitely not trying to go after anybody because it's at real Daytona, the cars usually don't blink in and out in front of you. That's a fun little perk of iRacing you get to see.
Yeah, and so as we are closing in at the end of stage 2, we're pretty certain it's on lap 80. But right now, a 3-car pack for the lead. Jacob Fifield, Nick Alford, and Matt Staten, who won stage 1. After them is a 4-car pack of Kevin Haas, Ronald Jackson, Julio Villalobos, and Mark Chandler. Then behind them is Paul Bajanic, Mark Morton, and I believe that's, or no, but it's Luke Brown. Yeah, it's Luke Brown.
Yes, he's running the 16. I think that's an AJ Allmendinger colleague car.
Gotcha. So as we are taking a look at the lead pack with just a few laps remaining in this stage, now we saw how interesting that one was. Let's take a look and see if these guys battle for those positions again. Matt Staten among these 3 cars in the 19 car, so you know he's going to be going after it. Now, you heard him during the interview. This is his debut race with this league. How huge would that be for him in his debut race to win both stages?
Oh, for the driver, it builds a lot of confidence, and to look to the other drivers, it it should tell them, hey, here's a guy. Yeah, he's gonna race and race hard, but he's gonna race clean because yes, we saw him blocking, but he didn't throw anything late. He didn't throw anything sideways or gnarly. So I'd say to the other guys in this league that have been racing a long time, that 19 car is one you can depend on come 3 to go. Although they are really bunching it up down the backstretch. Let's see. Yep, riding on 3rd place now, Matt Staten, just kind of pedaling it there off the back bumper, about a half car length off Alford.
Take a look at the gyro camera now to see how steep those turns truly are. You don't realize it when you're driving these cars in iRacing, or probably in real life either, how fast you're going. But man, that camera just always amazes me how steep it is. Now, there's been times in real life where, I believe it's Fox that they always broadcast the Daytona 500. There's times where that gyro camera was off sync because I remember one time it was 45 degrees, if not even more. I mean, it was the steepest thing you've ever seen in your life. So I believe they might have been exaggerating it a little bit, but nevertheless, even here in iRacing, those are some steep turns.
Well, at a 45-degree angle track, I thought Talladega was the biggest at 36.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not actually 45 degrees, but Fox definitely showed it as if it was at least 45 degrees. It was definitely a little over exaggerated. Oh well, good for TV.
Well, at least these first 3, everybody's still hugging that bottom line because you don't want to get kicked out and hung out to dry like yesterday's laundry right now.
See that pack behind them? this lead pack is pulling away from them just ever so slow. Well, maybe not. Actually, the gap closing now. Kevin Haas leading that second. He's currently 1.8 seconds behind Staten, who's in third. So they're slowly getting back up to him. And what's going to be interesting to see is as this stage comes to an end, if they can get up to them soon enough, there might be some more competition for this stage.
Well, they're going to have to hustle and hustle quick. Well, and they are doing that because they're only about a third of the straightaway off of from breathing down the back bumper of Staten.
And the closer they get, the more they're going to make up that time as they get more and more draft too. So I think there's going to be some competition for this stage in a lap or two.
And I think you're right because Haas the last time around he ran a 47.09, Staten a 47.31. So there's 2.5 tenths that's being made up.
And I said that, but they didn't really make up much time this lap. They only made up about 3 tenths. It almost looked like Haas kind of checked up on the backstretch because all of a sudden I noticed on the gap time that he wasn't making that time. So maybe that's not the case. We might be eating our own words right now, but still, there's no reason why they shouldn't be catching up as they are.
Well, and something else you see right there is that 3 car cannot stay on the bottom. He looks tight going into the corner because he's about a lane and a half off that double yellow line, and that's forcing everybody else to have to go up with him as here comes the 29 on through.
Yeah, trying to create a little bit of competition nearing the end of this stage. So of Ronald Jackson to take over that position. I believe that's Mark Chandler, it looks like, that kind of got hung out to dry there. But anyway, we'll go back to this lead pack, still under green as we are on lap 80. So Jacob Fifield continues to lead it. Alfred is right behind. You saw Staten look like he wanted to make a move. He's not going to be able to do it by himself, I don't believe. But you know he would love to. And I know that in official series, you are not supposed to cross that yellow line, and yet people do it all the time. I'm wondering if it is a rule in this high octane sim series whether or not you can cross that line. I'm assuming that you cannot. Haven't seen anybody give it a shot yet, at least not completely go down there, so I don't believe that that's the case.
I wouldn't think so because they have crossed it. They've put 2 tires under it. They've put 4 tires under it. Clipping the apron at the 15 that Nick Alford just did there. That's going to hurt you and give a little bit of breathing room back to the 45 Fifield. And Staten could theoretically get around the 15 here, although I think he's going to have a hard time prying that 45 off that bottom line.
Definitely going to have a hard time right now as you see him going to the outside. He's going to give it a try. He's going
to try that pack behind him is coming.
Yeah, here they come. He's trying to get that side draft, maybe get the outside lane going. I'm not sure if he knows exactly which way he wants to go, but here we go, coming to the line as we have a competition now. And the yellow's not out, so the stage is not over.
Sorry, 29.
Oh, that 3 car of Kevin Haas about ran out of time to make a decision on which way he wanted to go because he about plastered the 19 into the outside wall. He's going to stay on the bottom as now everybody else jumps up top.
Yeah, all of a sudden, early in the race, we saw only a couple of people on the outside with most of them in the inside lane. Here we go, battle for the lead again. Nick Alford goes for it and gets it with ease. The 15 car, or no, excuse me, that's Matt Staten. He finds himself out in front again, and that one was even easier than the last stage. So I'm sure he was kind of surprised.
Maybe not so fast.
Yeah, might not be over yet. Still no caution.
That 15's
so
got help behind him. This might be the last lap. I think as we're coming to 84, it's going to be 84. Whoa, we getting interested here.
Yeah, this is a good fight for the end of this stage. That second pack certainly made things interesting. As that high pack, he goes up to block,
Jackson.
And here comes the 29 of Jackson on the inside. Oh man, it's almost like a win right now rather than the stage, but They're doing everything they can to get this season started off on a positive note. Oh, we've got a wreck.
Oh, we got him wrecking.
More wreck.
Oh, there goes
my
the 29.
goodness.
The leader's around.
Matt Staten, and actually, no, this one not necessary. Yeah, Matt Staten going to take it to the line. Caution is out.
That caution's on me, Eric.
Kevin Haas, one of the cars involved in that
don't
wreck.
know, but
Mark
there's something that happened
Chandler,
behind you,
another
too.
one. Ronald Jackson also. That was not ideal right there.
That
3 and the 8 were together
I couldn't
behind
tell you
you as well.
exactly what happened, but the three of Kevin Haas was the first car to go around,
But
and
that
then
is stayed.
I think it was a byproduct of everybody else trying to check up to 29 right there of Jackson. He ends up going around as Chandler and Haas. They're already in the pits right now. So Staten, he's going to be scored your leader over Alford after the spin by Jackson, who stays on the track and keeps going. I don't think he hit anything or anything hit him. That's good news for him, but here we are under caution.
Yep, and we will take a look at the replay in just a moment. We'll try to find it real quick. Just obviously
Okay, because
what these
there
guys were
two
looking for.
incidences, two
Great
separate
race
incidences under
for the end of
two
that
penalties.
stage, and that was the final lap of the stage
15
indeed.
and then 3
But
will be getting
unfortunately,
EOLs.
did not end like they wanted to. Just heard that Haas will be one of the cars getting an end of longest line penalty. So he will be one of them.
I will issue the
Didn't
EOL
see
after the
who
pit
the
cycle.
other one was,
That's
but
all right. I'm
we will
done.
be looking
My
at it
engine was
in
gone.
just
I
a
had
moment.
to.
And I believe that Kevin Haas
Ah,
is
damn,
done.
sorry
He
to hear
just
that.
said that he had engine damage, and so it looks like he is going to be
You
finished
should
for
have a
this
faster
race,
car yet.
unfortunately.
Oh
All
yeah,
right,
he
so
took
I believe we
But I see what
are
you're saying. It's going to take
we
you a
are
minute.
ready
You'll wind up
to
being back
take
there
a
anyway.
look
Yeah, in a
at this
couple minutes to get
replay.
back. I'll be 2-3 laps long.
So right
racing,
here, the
guys.
29 of Ronald Jackson, he had a Union Pacific freight train's worth of momentum as he went from the top to the bottom. Big push by Alford. There's the initial contact with Haas, and then Alford, who's all over Jackson, has nowhere to go right as the caution's coming out. The 29 does a great job of saving it, but the damage is, well, the metaphorical damage is already done by that point.
Yep, just unfortunate there. And we'll take another quick look from a driver's perspective. Well, thought we were going to.
Negative. Well, this puts things into a very here we go.
Here we go.
Yep.
Well, it was coming.
Well, there it was.
Right, here we go. Here we go.
Hope you saw it.
So yeah, the 3 car definitely came up there and took out your driver to watch, and then right under them at the lead pack, the 29 got taken out as well. So yeah, the 3 car definitely one of those that was at the end of the longest line, but as we mentioned, I believe that he is finished. Actually, no, that's not him. He is back out there. So that's good to see him still. It's Kevin Haas. Oh, that is the 3 car. I'm sorry. I was a little confused there. So Kevin Haas done for the day. He is going to finish in 11th. The only people that will finish behind him will be Jeremy Richmond and Phoenix Mattern. Now, Mattern did not start this race. He is shown as an entry, but not sure if he had some connection issues or what, but he was a no-show. But nevertheless, Matt Staten, I said Alan Staten. You remember that name, Gray, don't you?
Oh boy, don't I?
Yeah. Gray and I are both alums of North Greenville University. We had a fantastic baseball player back in the day named Alan Staten. So
Just for the record, we still do have a fantastic baseball team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, no, this stage, I'm sorry.
Defending
You line up where
NCAA
your,
Division II
tells you.
national champions had a banquet yesterday at Fluor
extend?
Field in Greenville,
No,
South
we're good.
Carolina. Got the national championship
I
rings.
think
I was
everybody
fortunate
should
enough
be
to
good.
receive one of those too.
Just
It
double
is
checking
awesome.
here.
But
My ring.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Your ring, come on, you've been disconnected for a while now.
Boo!
Yeah. So anyway, we will get another word with Staten in just a moment.
Yeah,
Actually,
it looks like they're getting ready to go green.
okay, yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh, by the way, go Vols.
And I wasn't gonna be able to. I wasn't gonna be able to get a word with him anyway because we were gonna have to drop him in that voice channel that we don't have access to. So I was gonna leave him alone there. And Gray, you will be glad to know that I just heard I don't know which one it was, but one of the drivers just said, and I quote, "Go Vols."
Hey, we are a wide network. We
Yes,
are a
you
very
are.
wide network.
Yes,
Here
you
we
are.
are, back green.
So here we go.
Eric, I got a
Paul
passing in the
Bojanek.
yellow.
In and out number 8. The In and Out Burger number 8. What in the world?
And have a lot of cars moving around already. That's Matt Staten currently leading on the outside lane. He has taken both the first and second stages, so you know he would love to stick around and take the final stage for the win. But right now he is leading that outside back. Ronald Jackson is currently leading that inside, but no, he's not. That's Paul Bojanek. Yeah, Paul Bojanek leading.
Oh,
that
that's when he.
pack, but he's going to dive on the inside in that Georgia Bulldog car, trying to take over the inside. Only three
He's
cars,
probably not.
only 3 cars up.
Well, there he goes to the lead.
Pretty quickly. So Mark Morton currently your leader. We'll see if he gets to the start-finish line with the lead still.
Well, I can say this for sure. I bet he's not the one that said go Vols.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
No.
Just a hunch.
No. But that 29 car of Ronald Jackson has such a good push, such a good launch from the center off the corner. Matt Staten kind of holding him up right now as the 29's blink. Now the 29's blinking in and out.
Yeah, he's blinked a couple of times today, just every now and then. But it looks like everything's okay now. But just not moving right now. Is it got off to a strong start. Settled in that big single file lane on the inside lane, and they are starting to pull away from that outside pack.
And now the 52 is going to jump up, and that's going to let the pack slide through. So there goes Mark Morton up to the high side, dropping to the tail.
That was interesting to see, almost like he voluntarily gave that away. Maybe he's thinking that there's going to be some intense racing for the lead, so maybe he's trying to avoid all that. And you see him still sticking his nose out on the outside lane, maybe having a little bit of water temperature issues. That's typically what you see when a car has high water temperatures. You see them kind of poke that nose out there to get it. But anyway, that inside lane, Paul Bojanek leading the pack.
Oh, yeah, and it doesn't take much to get these cars up to a hot temperature and overheated, because the air openings have the NASCAR's kept shrinking them, and of course iRacing, following the real models of the cars, they shrink them as well. So that temperature gauge is got to be you got to keep an eye on it.
Yeah, definitely. And anytime it gets over anything over 300, and even a little bit less than that, but especially when you see 300, you know you're in trouble. As Martin Truex found that out at Darlington earlier this season in the Cup Series. I was at the race as well. I remember hearing someone above me saying, because the main issue is his power steering went out, and I heard somebody above me saying, you know, Richard Petty and all them didn't have power steering back in the day. He can't deal with it. But I also heard him on the radio saying that his water temperature was over 300. So he was having a lot of issues, as you see that bump drafting on the backstretch. So you know.
Now hold on a second. Robert Dudley was a lap down not too long ago, and now here he is leading.
So he must have gotten the lucky dog during the end of that stage. We were so busy trying to figure out who caused those incidents that weren't even really looking at who the lucky dog was. We apologize for that, but yeah, Dudley right back in this one. As you can see, he is in. Just comes to show you how quickly things can change.
Well, and hey, you got to give credit to him. He stayed in the right spot. He was the fifth car in line. Now, he was not fifth in the running order, but he was the fifth car in line there for a good chunk of that second stage. Stayed out of that last lap crash, and you get back on the lead lap, and here he is. Up front, Villalobos has also he's had a rough race. He's definitely had a rough race, but now he's rebounded up to third.
Yeah, he's been on kind of the trailing pack a couple of times throughout this race, but good job of staying in there. And that's always, you know, it's easy to get discouraged at Daytona. You know, when you're a lap down, not racing, it gets boring. But, you know, sometimes you just have to keep trucking, and, you know, it's paid off for these guys. And the stages help, you know, when you don't have, you know, when you know for sure that you have a caution or two coming, that always makes things a little easier. But nevertheless, a great job by these guys to stick in there and this one is there now, all racing for position. Everybody on track, on the lead lap, excuse me.
Bojanek was trying to throw a fake on Dudley. He looked high in a couple of corners and then tried to throw it low going into 3. He's still looking low on that 49 car. He is getting such a good launch. He's going in high, bringing it down low. That's something you don't usually. That's something you. Oh, there he goes.
Battle for the lead. Bojanek going for the lead on the inside lane. He does have it. So new leader Paul Bojanek reclaims the lead as the 49 car of Dudley kind of almost hit the wall going into 3 there, but he was able to come back down and keep that from happening. But here we go, things starting to amp up here as we have 2 lines going for the lead here.
And I think what helped Bojanek get the lead there is that 49 of Dudley. I'm not sure if it deceived me or not, but that 49 car, the rear end did not want to stick coming off of corner X. And it's definitely not going to be helped there by Chandler, Mark Chandler all over his back bumper. Now he's stuck in the middle with no help.
Yeah, good job by him to stay in this one. He was involved in that crash earlier. As the 52 car of Mark Morton now going for the lead. He's going to get it. I know you're loving that, the Georgia Bulldog paint scheme. Great.
How many times? How many times? Ooh, Chandler, dicey move, sliding into line that only one car could fit in.
Yeah, so now just one car on that outside lane. You see how quickly things can change. Laps remaining, still over 30, about 30. So it's starting to get around that time, and they are going to have more another green flag pit stop. I believe that we're down to one more green flag pit stop required.
Oh yeah, you have to make at least one more.
Yes. So, but as we see the 29 of Ronald Jackson, he continues to use that bumper, but not in an aggressive way. He's not being super aggressive with it, just giving a little love tap every now and then, mostly in the straights. So a good job of some slight bump drafting there. That curved spoiler, the curved rear end of these cars definitely makes it more difficult to handle that car when you're
for sure. And again, just to reiterate, it makes pushing on the left rear a definite no-no. Pushing on the right rear you can still get away with, but it's a little bit more challenging.
Yeah, definitely more challenging than what it used to be. So you see the 2 number 8 cars. Now Paul Bojanek is listed on the scorebug as number 8. Mark Chandler is listed as 67. So just to clear up any confusion there. But Mark Morton continues to lead this pack as you see Mark Chandler. Is that Mark Chandler? No, that's
that's Mark Chandler.
Yep. Mark Chandler kind of dove down low there, but he's able to causing any issues there.
And I think that's just the physics of the car transitioning from the turn banking to the flat banking of the trio, because that is a very sudden and swift transition.
Yeah, and that was something that I meant to mention. You've seen multiple NASCAR drivers, Cup Series drivers, when they compare NASCAR to iRacing, a lot of them say when it comes to the super speedways, and we saw it in the NASCAR Invitational Series during COVID, that even the Cup drivers were having issues. As you see all the moving around right there, even the Cup drivers were doing that when they raced on TV at Talladega. And the reason is because there's not as much side force in iRacing as there is in real life. The air actually helps create this lane. Cars are able to kind of stay in. It actually makes it a little bit of a challenge. You have to really wheel the car if you want to go to the outside or dive to the inside. The car, they were saying that the car almost kind of steers itself when you're in that lane. And so that definitely makes things much more challenging in iRacing to not have those races, not have it as much. And I know that racing in VR, which I have a VR headset, I can't race on a monitor anymore. I can only do VR now. It just gives you such a good feeling of the car. It's almost like you can feel when you're going to spin the car before you actually do it. It's a crazy feeling. It's really tough to do.
Oh yeah,
that
because
we do have a battle. We'll talk about that, but it really does make things more challenging. All you're seeing is the rear spoiler of the car behind you just right in your face. It definitely makes things more challenging.
And Chandler is going to push Bojanek to the lead as Bojanek got a little bit loose off of turn 2. You can't quite get the power plant all the way down to the floorboard on corner exit. Now Chandler's going to look to the outside, and he's going to get stuck up there.
Yeah, hung out to dry is Mark Chandler as the 60, or no, excuse me. Anyway, back to single file, all except one car. That is Chandler.
It sure is.
Okay, so still getting used to those car numbers, but anyway.
Oh, Chandler's going to go down to the end, way off track down to the inside, or somebody is. I think it was the car behind Chandler.
As we are past lap 100 now, just 29 laps remain in this race. We'll have green flag pit stops, obviously, unless there's a caution. That will be coming up, and the window, I believe, is pretty much opening, maybe in just a few laps. I would think that they would want to wait just a few more laps to make sure that they're not pushing anything, especially, you know, one thing that you have to do is take the lead. You're going to use up more fuel than the rest of the pack. I know you mentioned that earlier, Gray. So for somebody in any of these cars that are not used to being up front, all of a sudden they find themselves in the lead and they pit as soon as that pit window opens up. They could find themselves in trouble hanging on to enough fuel.
Oh yeah, playing the leader in a fuel mileage race is like a case of hot potato. You don't want it, you just want to give it off to the other guy. In this case, Bojanek would love to kind of just fall back in line behind Villalobos, who's now moved up to that second spot. Then it's Alford and Fifield, third and fourth. Those two, there's actually, right, let me look at this. Third, fourth, and fifth, Alford, Fifield, and Staten. One of those three more than likely will be in the winner of this race. Staten has been both the stage 1 and 2 winners. So pit window definitely going to be open here. I say 103 to 106. That would probably be your optimal time.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Now, I think that these cars are going to all communicate with each other. Now, in the Discord channel, there are several of these guys that are in their own separate team channels, so there could be some teamwork involved, but I just don't see that happening. I don't see only 2 or maybe 3 cars deciding to try to pit secretively, because you can't risk losing that lead pack, because, you know, if you have a pack with 4 or 6 cars versus a pack with 2 or 3 cars, that bigger pack is going to pull away from so I don't think that's going to happen. I think these guys are going to communicate with each other, and they're all going to try to pit together. Now, obviously, green flag pit stops can change everything, and with this being the final one of the day, the final green flag pit stop at least, I would think that these guys are probably going to be as aggressive as they can. I'm predicting possibly a car spinning coming onto pit road. If it's going to happen, it's going to be during the next green flag pit stop.
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me at all. And plus, they're going to have to communicate with each other because mission number 1, don't get run over from behind on pit road. Mission number 2, don't be that guy running people over getting onto pit road. And pitting secretly doesn't do you any good because Chevrolet ought to learn that 3 years ago in the Daytona 500 when they just decided to go all Rambo and pit secretively apart from each other, and that worked out wonderful for them.
It looks like cloud. I believe on the backstretch, the cloud coverage was back a little bit there. It looked like the screen got a little bit darker there, so that's something to keep in mind too. And typically, the cooler the track, the more grip. So, you know, it's when you're racing, you prefer to see that cloud coverage. The front stretch definitely has plenty of cloud coverage now, or the stands actually now coming into play with those shadows. But you know, that's something to keep in mind is this track looks like it's going to get cooler throughout the remainder of this race with 25 laps to go.
Well, yeah, lap 105. So pit window's open, boys. It might be feeding time here pretty soon.
Now I can hear the voice chat in my headset. I know that that's not making its way onto the broadcast. We wanted to keep it a clean broadcast. It wanted to make sure that nothing was said that was inappropriate. Haven't heard anything on the voice chat as of yet, so it doesn't look like anybody's planning on coming in this time. No, they are not. So we are going to come to 24 laps to go, but I'm predicting within the next 5 laps we're going to see green flag pit stops.
Well, let's see. The caution fluid 84 for the stage, and they pitted on probably like 85, 86. So you take. Hang on, I got to do math real quick. So you had that. All right, ignore me. I clearly.
North Greenville education.
Hey, look, I was one and done with math. Not my strong suit.
I was the same way when my last math course was back in 2013 at the tech college that I transferred to North Greenville from. So yeah, it's been even longer since I've taken a math course. So I get it. Right, I get it.
The telltale sign is they are going to be running that bottom line, and so far everybody has come off turn 4 middle groove or higher. Nobody has really stuck to that bottom to indicate that either they are going to or it's going to be a fake. But I don't know why you would pull a fake this late in the show, and that could really mess up your day and everybody else's.
Nah, and you need everybody's draft too. So
yes, you do.
These guys are going to cooperate with each other as much as possible.
52 on pit man.
And just heard the first sign that someone is coming in. I believe Luke Brown was announcing that. Let's see if everybody else comes
78
with
backed
them.
up. Oh, yeah, here comes the 8.
Oh, only one
Bojanek.
car coming in. Oh,
Only
my
Bojanek.
goodness. That is unfortunate for Paul Bojanek. The only car coming into pit. Nobody came with him. They hung him out to dry, and that might be the race for him. He needs a caution now.
Now, Bojanek's still definitely not out of this deal. A caution could get him back in it. He's just got to get teamed up with that 88-16 of Brown and hope these guys come in this time by.
Yeah, so he's also hoping that somebody makes a mistake on pit road, or that somebody comes in right here and pits by themselves as well. And looks like nobody's coming in this time, and this is something we're going to have to keep an eye on for pretty much until all of these guys make their green flag pit stop. As we see, they are coming up on a left car. That is not Bojanek, that's Matt Morton that they're going to be coming up just within probably a lap or two. So we'll see if he causes any.
Yeah, Mark Martin's last car on the lead lap running 9th. Luke Brown did not escape pit road in time. He is he's back 1 lap down. So, and now Julio Villalobos is out in front of Alford, Fifield, Staten, and Jackson. And does anyone come this time?
Yes, they are.
No?
No. Wow.
No, they're not.
Man, they fooled. It absolutely looked like they were braking and were about to turn into the pits. They did not. I was gonna say I heard nothing on voice chat, so I was thinking if they all did that, there is some sort of conspiracy against Paul Bojanek if that was the case. But that was not the case. These guys will wait at least one more lap before they come in.
Well, the last lap
49.
pitted for everybody in the top
And
7
here they
is
come.
lap 84.
Here they come. I've
Here they
heard,
come.
heard two. Villalobos was one of them, and I believe Robert Dudley was the other one that announced that they are coming down pit road. So we've got at least 2 that most likely will be coming down pit road. Maybe they're trying to catch people off guard. Here they come.
Yep.
No, not everybody.
Oh,
Not everybody. So this
Somebody
is
pulled
going
a
to make
fake.
things interesting. And we'll see if the 8 car can slow down enough. He came onto the entrance of pit road with a lot of steam there. Hopefully no speeding penalty there. But Villalobos, Robert Dudley, and Mark Chandler have made their way onto pit road. So Nick Alford,
Oh, he missed his
and
box.
he had to back up. That could cost him the race. And this is where mistakes are made. This is where races are not won, but this is where they are lost. As now we are taking a look at the lead pack. It's down to Nick Alford, Jacob Fifield, Matt Staton, and Ronald Jackson. This is the lead pack. 5th is Mark Chandler's. They're starting to make their way off of pit road, and here come the rest of them. So
Ooh, it's gonna be hot, coming in hot.
everybody will have made their green flag pit stops. One car checking up, spun his tire, or excuse me, brake checked a little bit there. Left a skid mark there a little bit, but other than that, everybody clean there. Almost had some contact there, but it looks like everybody's going to be able to come onto pit road. We'll see if everybody checked up. It looks like they did. It looks like it's going to be fuel only for these 2 cars. And we'll
Yeah, you don't need you took tires at the end of the last stage. It's fuel only now. You do not need tires at all.
And wow, we have that. Looks like that's going to split. I think they're going to be able to catch up to each other, but you had those first 2 cars coming off of pit road much quicker.
Now, how quick does this pack catch them? Can they get around them?
And Matt Staton has actually distanced himself from Jacob Fifield. Now, Fifield will be able to catch up to him, but you wonder if that distance is going to cost them just a little bit of time. Meanwhile, Nick Alford and Ronald Jackson have linked back up. So they are now going to get up to full speed before Matt Staton and Jacob Fifield do. So you wonder if they're going to make a move on them once they do catch up. Staton still in the lead, but Mark Chandler leading the next pack, and they are fast approaching. But I don't think they're going to actually be able to catch up. I think that Matt Staton is going to take over with the lead. As we are closing in on
this lead
race.
group has got to get organized. They have got to get organized within the next lap or so. They have got it. Oh, here we go.
Yep.
Here comes Chandler and company.
That is the rest of the pack. Matt Staton has hurt himself. He ended up having a great pit stop, but that put him right there by himself. Almost had a spin there, but everybody able to keep up with it.
That was my bad, man.
Villalobos hung out to dry on the outside lane. Mark Chandler leading this pack. The 16 car is a lap down. That is Luke
And that's
Brown.
that's Luke Brown.
So Matt Staton's still the leader, but this pack is going to come up on him fast. And with Staton taking those first 2 stages, you know these guys are going to be determined to make a pass on him. And here they go.
Yep, there goes the hard right turn to the side. That's going to kill a little bit of momentum, but oh yeah, easy pass.
So Staton is going to go to the back of this line. There's still time for him to recover. Ooh, almost had contact there between these 2. So Staton actually has not gone all the way to the back. It looks like Mark Chandler is going to have the trail of this lead pack. But
Now, I'm not sure if the 45 of Jacob Fifield had a problem or what, but he has come back down pit road, so the 45 is out of this deal.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is back on pit road. Not exactly sure what happened there. Doesn't look like anybody crashed, so yeah, not sure.
So here he comes on. Yeah, there he is. And he was one of my big three, the 19, the 15, and the 45, and there goes the 45. So, important thing to remember here, the 16 out front, that's the 88 of Luke Brown. He's technically on the lead lap because he's in front of the race leader, Nick Alford.
Good observation there. Nick Alford, technically the leader right now as we take a look at him. That is him in the 15 car. So you gotta kind of ignore the 16 car. You don't very often see a car that's on the verge of going a lap down leading the pack this late in the race with 14 to go. But interesting times, and we'll see if it's just going to be interesting. He's hoping for a caution, so he's hoping that he can kind of bunch everybody up, keep them bunched up, and maybe get something to happen, maybe some contact. But only time will tell. Almost had some contact there.
He's about to get it, that's for sure, because Ronald Jackson is about to have a huge push coming here from the 78 of Villalobos. Well, I thought.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Two of these cars in the lead pack a lap down. It's not just Alford. It's Luke Brown and who? I'm trying to see who the other one was. I believe no, it's not Jacob Fifield.
Fifield is scored one lap down. Brown's the last car on lead lap.
I'm sorry, I'm reading the timing. The rest of the 5 are on the lead lap, so this is for position 5 of the 6 cars, with the only exception being the 16. And so
yeah, and Alford knows it's go time. He's laying the bumper to the 16, saying go or get out of the way.
Yeah, trying to use that draft at the same time though. And you wonder at what point is an outside lane going to be created. It looks like Villalobos trying to test it, and now here comes Staten. Matt Staten fighting for second place. He has it for the moment.
Oh, Chandler didn't go with him. I thought the 8 was going to go with him.
So we're taking a look at Nick Alford in the lead, who is in the lead yet behind.
Well, don't look behind you.
Yeah, exactly. And here comes the outside pack. The outside lane has created a line for now. It looks like not quite everybody is able to fully commit one way or the other. Laps to go going into turn 3. This is gonna be an interesting finish here.
There it is for the race lead. Alford and Staten. Oh, Jackson trying to go 3 wide on the inside. That ain't gonna work.
Yep, and if you're Alford, you've got to be a little frustrated right now. And here they go. Oh my goodness.
Oh no! The lap car of Brown either got hooked or. Oh man, caution coming out. Alford gets through it, but Jackson. I don't know how Ronald Jackson got through that, but everybody else went with the 16.
Nick Alford and Ronald Jackson, the only 2 to make it out of that one as the caution comes out with 11 laps to go. That's unfortunate. I was just going to say that I believe it was Alford that I was going to be talking about. I was going to say he's got to be frustrated the fact that he was stuck behind the lap car, but at the same time, if you're Luke Brown, I mean, you can't just voluntarily give yourself up. You're one caution away from getting back on the lead lap. And so,
oh yeah, you're fighting for position.
Exactly. So we'll see if we can get a replay in just a moment here.
Well, I would say if they were the only 2 cars left on track, we go Talladega Nights, park them in turn 4, and let's have a foot race to the start-finish line. But I don't think that's gonna happen.
Good one, Gray.
You're welcome. So Villalobos was in it. I think the 19 was also in it. Matt Staten, he's in pit road. Chandler's in. Brown is also in. He won't get that lap back because he was in the caution. And so as everybody else gets, let's see what we got here. I think there was contact between the 15 and the 16.
So take a look. Actually, the 16 came up, and so that makes it even more frustrating when the lap car comes up and causes an issue like that among the lead pack. We'll rewind it real quick and take one more look. That is extremely frustrating if you're Staten.
Yeah, Staten had definitely gotten a fender alongside him coming into the tri-oval right
My
about
damn wheel is fucking
there.
up.
And at this point, the outside cars got
Yes, it is.
position. Brown did not know that. He starts moving up, thinking he can throw a block. It's not there. And we're on into the wall.
Yep.
And then that leaves nowhere to go for Chandler or Villalobos. Jackson and Alford, they're home clear.
Yeah, fortunate for those two, unfortunate for everybody else.
And it's a busy pit road.
Yeah.
Alford's in, Jackson's in, but Paul Bojanek is not.
Yeah, Bojanek did not come in. It doesn't look like he did. And just taking a look at everything. No, Bojanek did not come in. So must have felt he was comfortable with fuel. Didn't need tires either.
Oh, I remember this part. Let the pace car by.
So Bojanek leads it. Nick Alford second, Ronald Jackson comes out third, Villalobos fourth, Mark Morton fifth, and Matt Staten sixth. We'll take a look at these cars and see if there's any damage on them. It didn't look like anybody had damage to the point to where it would affect their speed too much. Yeah, Staten looks okay. That car looks fine
I did not
overall.
close it, so it's whatever I.
Oh yeah. The 19's good. The 52 is he's good. The 52 of Mark Morton is good. Villalobos would be a big question mark, as well as the 8 of Chandler, which Chandler is. I think the race is over for Mark Chandler. He's 2 laps down.
Yeah, I normally don't like to show camera angles that aren't realistic, but we are going to take a look at the front of Villalobos' car real quick. Actually, I don't see that camera angle, so maybe we're not going to see that.
Nope. That cameraman has been sacked.
Yeah, I guess we couldn't afford that camera angle this time. We've got the nose angle though.
Well, they're lining up double file, so we're obviously getting ready to go back green here. So
I don't know why.
Paul Bojanek did come in, so he will not be the leader. Alford and Jackson will line up on the front row. Then Villalobos and Mark Morton. Staten, despite being in the caution, was able to get back off pit road. And from who's going to line up behind them?
Yeah, and this, even though we've got some cars that are a little damaged, this is still anybody's race. Among the ones that you see in this lead pack, I don't see anybody that's truly out of this one yet, and so this is definitely going to come down to the wire.
And my biggest question right now is that 29 of Ronald Jackson. He has been so strong pushing. I don't think I've seen him in a point where he's been out front leading. So if he gets the lead, how does that affect the 29?
Yeah, definitely. And it's always tough restarting on that outside lane because you have to keep an eye on that leader. You're not allowed to pass him prior to the start-finish line. And so it's always kind of a strategy when you go as the leader. It's up to you after that pace truck goes in. As you see, the 15 car, Nick Alford, gets off to a good start.
Oh, that was beautiful. That was a beautiful restart.
Yeah, but he pulled out just a little bit, but not enough to where everybody's going to be able to just zoom right by him. So that's definitely a good combination of the two. And yeah, the 29 of Ronald Jackson did not get off to a great start. He is currently being shown in 5th, even though he leads that outside lane. They are quickly falling back as the inside
Well, he
line
might have some
dominated
8.
this restart.
He might have some help here. Here comes that 8 car of Bojanek looking to the outside, and now the 19 feigning up there as well.
Yeah, and Alfred.
And where did Fifield come from? He was a lap down.
Yeah, he was, but I'm assuming he was the lucky dog, and so he was able to make up for that mistake earlier, and he gets back up in there. And so we have 6 laps to go. Nick Alford leads the inside lane. Villalobos has been very strong late in this race. He is right there in second place in the 78 car. Matt Staten, who won the first 2 stages, still in it, even though those 2 were in that wreck. They are right there racing for the win.
And those top 3, they've got a breakaway if they can stay single file for the next few laps. They can, they might be able to decide it amongst themselves. But now here comes everybody else.
Yeah, they love what they're seeing behind them, the double file racing right there, but with just 2 cars in each lane, that's not enough to really create enough minimum, or excuse me, create enough momentum to be able to make to be able to get up to that lead pack. So they're going to have to kind of settle and find their way back to 3. 5 laps to go, not much time left.
Yeah, Dudley and Fighting got to get things figured out with those lines back there because they're currently the front 2 side by side. And right now, Nick Alford and Villalobos and Staten are trying to figure out who's going to finish first, second, and third.
Villalobos and Staten both were thinking about trying that outside lane, but ended up not doing so. But we already know that Staten's going to give it a shot at some point.
Oh, he's won the stages. He's going for the win now, no matter what.
Yeah, it's just a matter of when he goes for it. But as we see a couple of cars trying the inside lane, not enough momentum there yet to get there. But I'm sure we are going to see another car or 2 within a lap. So shot, here comes Staten.
Ooh,
And
Alford jumped up.
Yep, Alfred goes up to block. So far it has worked out. Villalobos now the lead car on that inside lane. I'm sure that we're going to see Alfred try to go down low. Nope, it's Staten, and there goes Alfred. This is going to be interesting. This is going to come down right to the wire. Staten gets
careful
the
off the
inside.
corner.
He's below the yellow line. Don't know if that's going to affect anything rule-wise. We've got a
3-wide.
We've got a 3-wide battle for the lead with 3 laps to go, and we've got a crash.
And they're crashing. They're crashing.
The yellow does come out. So we are
Oh
gonna
man,
have,
the 15 of that's the 15 of Alfred that got turned.
Yep, we are gonna have a green-white checkered to the finish here. We'll take a look at the replay in just a moment, but Paul Bojanek now being shown as the leader, followed by Matt Staten and Villalobos in third.
And that was a move of opportunity right there for Bojanek to get around the 19, because arguably that 19 car is going to be the one he has to beat, as the 15 got tangled up with someone in that incident.
Yeah, I like that chopper cam. So we're gonna go to that again, and we will take a look at exactly what happened here as soon as I click the right thing. So here we go.
A chopper.
Yeah, as you as you saw, they were 3 wide, going to 3 to go, and you see the contact right there.
Ooh.
Alfred came up just the slightest little bit. Don't know if he expected the 52 to be there or not, but that is what happened just between those 2 cars.
Gonna be on Nick.
As
Fortunately, he came up a little bit.
as Nick Alford is going to be charged
car
an
in
end
3.
of longest line penalty for that crash. So Alford charged with that one, and we are going to come to a green-white checkered, I believe, here in this one, the opening race here in the High Octane Sim Series.
Well, it certainly hasn't disappointed, I will say that much. Bojanek able to jump out to the lead. Now they're Staten. They got through Villalobos as well. Fifield still very much alive in it. And then, oh boy, Robert Dudley should slide in front of the 15. They come to pit road. And
You got a green,
lots
white,
of fun.
checkered.
And there will indeed be a green-white checkered, so that was just confirmed in the voice chat. Don't know why that replay tag is still being shown there. This is indeed live. Oh, no, it's not. Never mind.
I was about to say,
Now we're live. Now we're live.
There goes the 29 of Ronald Jackson around. Get back a lap.
Yep, and it looks like there's still at least one more pace lap to go, so that was not a wave around, so Jackson must have been the lucky dog there. But seven cars currently going to be shown on the lead lap. Robert Dudley currently in the pits, but Paul Bojanek indeed with the lead in the In-N-Out Burger car, followed by Matt Staten, then Villalobos, then Fifield and Alford. That is your top 5. Dudley still being shown in 6th place as Ronald Jackson is currently making up his lap. And now he just made the pass, so Dudley now in 7th. Mark Morton is the first car to not be on the lead lap, and he is currently still in the pits, I believe. Actually, we'll just take a look real quick. Nope, he is off the track. So Mark Morton, I believe, is done for the race. Unfortunate for him. Dudley, the only one in the pits.
Hey, Eric, I'm 3
And
laps
it looks
down.
like, yeah, it's
Give me
going to
an
stay that
EOL
way.
so
Dudley
that,
must be picking
I
up some
can stay out of these guys' way.
extra damage repairs.
There you go.
So what I'm interested to see here is
Thank
who's
you.
going to line up behind the 8 car once they do go back double file. Fuel,
Go ahead, 15.
not
I
getting
got
fuel
an
is
EOL.
not an issue. Tires, nothing should be an issue
Okay.
here except for if you have damage
Very
that you
true.
didn't come down and get repaired.
No, with the only exception of a miscalculation, there should definitely be no issues with fuel or tires at this point for obvious reasons. But yeah, Villalobos is going to be the one to line up behind the 8 of Paul Bojanek. Jacob Fifield will be behind Matt Staten, and I believe one more car should be on the outside. They haven't got the promo yet, but I'm sure that'll be worked out before we go green. You don't
Because
actually.
right now,
There's in iRacing, it actually you don't actually have to go to the outside. Now I'm sure that race control would look down on staying on the inside, but the iRacing doesn't really have a way to penalize you
No.
for not going to the outside lane. It's just kind of something you do, and so it's but anyway, the 8 car of Bojanek, can he hang on to this win? Now again, it's worth mentioning, he decides when he restarts. It's up to Matt Staten. He has to stay behind Bojanek as they restart because you cannot cross the finish line. Even if, and this causes a lot of frustration at times in iRacing, even if that car kind of checks up and manipulates the system, you can get penalized. Now, I can assure you that race control for the High Octane Sim Series would probably penalize you if you were to, the rule is that you cannot go, then slow down, then go again. And so
No.
once you go, you have to go.
well, it's
So-
go time for sure.
Yep, speaking of go, here we go. And
Oh,
this could
oh,
be an
no.
issue. The 19 of Matt Staten took the restart with the lead. That could be a penalty. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see if race control decides to throw a black flag or not. Staten does take that inside lane. This is going to be interesting. This could be but Staten currently with the lead on that inside. Paul Bojanek right behind him in 2nd place, and they battle for positions behind them.
Yeah, they're going double file behind him there as, Bojanek all over the back bumper. He's looking outside again. Is he going to try inside? Nope. 19's going to keep it locked down there.
And so here we come to the white flag. Is Bojanek going to get help from behind? Matt Staten has already blocked to end a stage before, so we know he has experience with blocking cleanly, not getting on him. He blocked cleanly. We'll see if he can do it again. Here we go. Bojanek
Good run
takes
by
the
the 8.
outside lane. We have 3 cars in both lanes battling for the lead. Actually, a 4th car coming into play. He takes the outside lane. Matt Staten could be in some trouble here as the 8 and the 45 have linked up. But the
Where does
inside lane
Fifield
coming
go?
back.
Does he have a card to play?
He does block. There's a bump from Staten. Bumped him out of the way, and they all crash. Oh, my goodness. Bojanek
Oh, no.
all by himself. He is going to take this win. My goodness, what an end to this race. Paul
Wow,
Bojanek is going to win it.
Well, Bojanek,
Good job,
I don't
Paul.
know if he missed a shift or what happened
Thank you,
on that
thank you.
start, but
Sweet.
great job rallying back for the In-N-Out car. Must confess, never had an In-N-Out
Good win,
burger.
Paul.
Haven't made it that far out west
Thank
yet,
you.
but In-N-Out gets it done tonight. Wow.
Top 3 starting finish line after Paul does his
Well,
burnouts.
thankfully, there will be no controversial finish here today. I was going to wonder what would happen if Staten did hang on for that win, whether there was going to be any kind of penalty. But as you see the race results come up, Paul Bojanek takes the victory. Villalobos ends up with second place, Nick Alford third, Robert Dudley fourth, Ronald Jackson fifth. And that is all for the lead lap. Behind them, Matt Staten ended up, I take it he ended up not finishing, so I believe that's why he's being shown as a lap down. Jacob Fifield, Luke Brown, Mark Morton, and Mark Chandler wrap up the top 10. So we will get top 3 interviews in just a moment. As you will clear that, you'll see in just a moment. Still,
Yeah, we got burnouts.
yep, you see Paul Bojanek celebrating, and a couple cars just sitting there and with the best view in the house, just watching him celebrate. In fact, we'll get their view real quick.
I think that's your top 3, Villalobos
Yeah.
and Alford.
Yep, definitely. So great job by them. A very entertaining race to open up the season.
That's a hell of a way to celebrate.
Oh, yeah, there was no doubt. That was plenty of entertainment there. I mean,
Still good.
you're going for the race win going into 3 because you can't make the move off of 4. It's too late by then. You've got to do it on the backstretch or going into 3. So Bojanek just held his line, and he did what he had to do. Good deal. That was a good deal.
Line up, Julio.
Did get a Gray, you'll be glad to know we got a comment from Mark Morton saying that Junior, Letarte, and Burton better watch their
Julio, get
jobs.
to
So, you know,
Paul,
he
go down by
approved
the
he approved
yellow
of
line.
our job here tonight. I think he was being, you know, there might have been a little sarcasm in there,
middle.
but we do appreciate the compliment. And again, do apologize for the technical issues at the start of this race. Fortunately, all clean once we were able to get back going again. But your top 3, Paul Bojanek, followed by Julio Villalobos, and third, Nick Alford. So we will get interviews from the top 3 in just a moment here on 10-4 Broadcasting. All right, Paul Bojanek, you got a copy?
Yes, sir, and it's Bojanek, brother. Copy.
Okay, gotcha. So the winner of the season opener, season 4 season opener of the High Octane Sim Series.
Good job, Paul. Anybody got anything for me?
Matt
I'm
Staten
in the tower for a few more
took
minutes.
the first 2 stages. You knew that he was going to have a big
Big
run there to go for the win. Ended up being involved in an incident that opened up the way for you. A little bit of a controversial restart, it looked like. So there might have been some controversy had he been fortunate enough to stay out in front, but fortunately that was not the case for you. What were you thinking going onto that white flag?
First, like I said, I knew he jumped a start, so, and I didn't know if he got black flag for that or not, but so I just hung with him, and like I said, and just took him to the outside on the last lap, and they wrecked each other and left me go. It was all good. And it's Bojanek, brother.
Oh, Bojanek. So I apologize for that. We'll definitely get that cleared up from now on. Bojanek. Just overall impressions of this race. We saw some great racing after a really clean start to this race. A pretty much green flag stage 1 all the way through. No real close calls, and then all of a sudden a very interesting second and third stage. I mean, is this about what you expected? Was it a little more chaotic? What were you thinking?
Well, it was, like you said, it was pretty smooth, and like there wasn't a whole lot of cars to mess with us, but it was a good, clean race. And like I said, I had an issue with a car that I guess he was losing control of his steering and hit me a couple times, and I had to use my fast repair right this last pit stop, which, like I said, I thought, and then I got black flag for the pits weren't open. I didn't know why they weren't open, but it wouldn't let me pit, so I was a little lost there at the end.
Yeah, wasn't sure what was going on with the pit road being closed. I did hear you guys talking about it. Wasn't really sure what the case was, but nevertheless, it worked out for you. A great win to open up season 4. Do you have anybody that you want to shout out?
Well, always my wife for just letting me hang and play with this thing, and obviously God, man, he's always good. But I just want to thank everybody here for letting me play, man. All good.
All right, well, we appreciate you joining us, and congratulations on the victory to start this season.
Thank you.
Congrats, Paul. Good job.
Thank you.
That is Paul Bojanic. So we've got that pronunciation for the rest of the season. So we will go to Villalobos now, who took second place. Julio Villalobos, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
All right, so a second place finish to start the season. Congratulations on that. Seemed like you kind of hung near that, kind of hung around that second pack early on in the race, about halfway, and then from there you were really up there for the majority of the race, competing for the lead. Was that kind of your strategy, or did you get in some trouble early on? What was going on there?
Yeah, so I get some problems with the draft at the first stage. Then I start advancing more, but the strategy was to get in the back, avoid all the wrecks, and just finish the race.
Yeah, great race to start this season. We saw you get caught up in a couple of those incidents there late, but fortunately, I'm guessing that you did end up using a fast repair to get back into it with no damage. So, were you kind of frustrated knowing that you had the fast repair, but obviously you never want to be in a wreck because of the uncertainty of what can happen. Was there any doubt going to that green-white checker whether your car was going to be full speed, or were you pretty much good to go?
Yeah, pretty much good to go. The only thing I was like trying to avoid is to get in that final break.
Gotcha. Any shout-outs you want to give?
Yeah, to Max Graphics, Capsule of Time, Broken Axle, Chip Technology, and to my family that is always watching the races.
All right, well, we appreciate you joining us. A second place finish to open up season 4 here at High Octane Sim Series. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, and finally, we are going to have Nick Alford, who took third place. Nick Alford finished third, right?
Yes, Nick
Okay,
Alford
just
with
making
the
sure.
15 to finish third.
Making sure I wasn't looking at the wrong thing. All right, we've got the 15 of Nick Alford, finished third place. Nick, you were there racing for the win. Unfortunately, an incident stopped that from happening, but nevertheless, a strong finish for you. What were your overall impressions of this race?
Yeah, this race is great. It was actually refreshing to see that many green flag laps run. Everybody's pretty clean and respectful out there. That last incident, just the air, whenever you get in the middle like that, the air just does some funky stuff to the car. It just sucked me up to that top line, and there was nothing I could do.
Well, I believe it was you that was caught up behind the lapped car when that incident happened earlier on. Is that right?
Yeah.
So, not asking if there's a grudge or anything now, but I imagine that had to be kind of frustrating. Were you guys trying to kind of move him over, or were you just kind of letting him do his thing and just trying to get to the end there?
Yeah, no, I was just kind of riding behind him. I was just hoping for a good finish. Just kind of letting him do his thing, and I wasn't trying to push the subject there. I don't really like leading here because you kind of get put in a bad spot towards the end. So I was trying to keep somebody in front of me as long as I could.
Yeah, definitely. We were talking to the winner. There definitely would have been some controversy if Staten was able to hang on for the win, because Bojanic was definitely telling us that he jumped the restart, and we were thinking the same thing. We weren't quite sure if there was a checkup there or what, but yeah, but fortunately that did not happen. I know that limping to the finish line is kind of frustrating, but still a podium finish for you. Were you kind of thinking that you'd be a car to beat today, or you thinking that you were fortunate to get this good finish?
Plate races, man, there's not really a car to beat, especially with the fixed setups. It's really all about luck and timing where you fall. I got real lucky, turn 3 with that wreck. I was able to keep the car straight and just limp it over to the start and finish line to catch a P3.
Yeah, well, great job on this race. Any shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, shout out to my team, Milsim Racing, Brian, um, Bunker Branding. They're on the car this year. If you're into guns, check out bunkerbranding.com. He's got a whole bunch of shirts and hoodies and stuff like that. Shout out to adminbox.com. Use code HOSBOX for, I believe it's 15% off. And then, yeah, that's really it.
All right, we appreciate you joining us, and congratulations on the third place finish.
Thanks, sir.
All right, so
Well,
Oh, go ahead.
I thought that was very interesting what Nick Alford had to say. He was quite content just to let the lapper of Luke Brown just ride around in front of him, do his thing.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Yeah, definitely. You're not used to hearing that, especially when you're out there battling for the lead. But he was, like he said, perfectly content to sit there and just try to get to the end. That's step one. Step two is being out in front to win it. But he was able to hang in there. He was involved in that incident, but ended up being able to limp to the car. Third place finish. As you see, third place car finished 2.2 seconds behind the winner, and then fourth place Robert Dudley 22.3 seconds behind. So some a pretty big incident there to finish things off, but still great race to start things off to this season 4 of the High Octane Sim Series. And Gray, any final thoughts?
Well, I also have to give high praise to your second place finisher, Julio Villalobos. He sounded very, obviously you want to win, but he sounded like he certainly learned a lot being in the draft, and just because that was an embattled car all night, and him keeping that thing straight and rolling and coming out second place, that's a test. That's a pretty good test for a driver. So I think he's got a very bright future ahead of him. And Paul Bojanic, despite the start there, Paul, he did what he had to do, and able to keep it clean and let the chaos take care of itself.
Absolutely. So that will do it from us here at 10-4 Broadcasting. We appreciate you joining us. Paul Bojanic takes the win to open up the season, and we hope you appreciate the broadcast, or hope you enjoyed the broadcast, and we will see you next time.